remember that in the previous class, I talked about how to tackle listening part 1. I'm very sorry that I couldn't come forth as I promised with all the assignments that I had to give you. But we were working on our software to develop a unified IELTS practice test for all of us. And I'm happy to inform us that we have been able to develop materials on unified IELTS, which will be able to give us standard. I want to quickly go over what we talked about in the part 1. I can actually boast today that there is nobody in my previous class that will not be able to tackle part 1, because I knew that we did in-depthly in our last class. And I'm sure that we have laid our hands on 1 or 2 practice tests. Don't worry, after today's class, there will be enough assignments. In fact, enough that will be able to take us till Wednesday. So please, I just want you to cooperate with me and move along with the class so that after the class, we can be able to work together. I hope we can understand that. Telling us in our previous class that we should endeavor to test our earpiece before the exam. Once the examiner gives us the earpiece and tell us to test, please make sure that you test it well and ensure that it is working. If it is not working, tell your examiner that your earpiece is not working, or is cracking, or is skipping, or is making an audible sound, a sound that you can't actually comprehend. Then the examiner will change the mic for you. Don't manage a bad mic in the exam hall. It doesn't make sense for you to manage a bad mic, because at the end of the day, you will be at the receiving end. Then I told you that anything that is at your sitting position that is not making you comfortable, please report it as early as possible so that they can find a good solution to whatever they want to do to help. I hope we get that. I said that there are some sitting positions that might not be comfortable. Like maybe the table has a hole in between and you see that it's going to affect your writing. Then you have to make a complaint. Please, any point I am that you can't hear me, just unmute your mic and say you can't hear me. Tell me so that I can be called back, because when you are sending the message, at times the message takes a while to deliver. So please just unmute your mic and tell me that you can't hear me so that I can I can take it slow and work more on the network from here. Thank you. So I told us that we should make sure that we make our complaint very early before they share the question papers to us. Because if it's in between the question paper, if it's in between the question rather, then you will have to be losing mark. And the annoying part is that the time you will have to be losing time, because the time is not even enough for you to sit and write the questions. Now, you are now spending the time to change your sitting position and the likes. So it is very important that you lay your complaints very early so that you can be able to reshuffle, or maybe if there is any adjustment that needs to be made, the adjustment should be made early before the exam starts so that it won't have any interference with your time. I hope we got that. Then, I hope we got that.
Yes, ma.
Okay, thank you. Then another thing.
Yes, I get it. Yes, ma.
Thank you very much. Another thing I would like to talk about is instruction. When you receive your question paper, the first thing that you need to do, the very first thing that you need to do is to read the instruction. What did I ask you to do when you receive your question paper? What is the first thing?
Read instruction.
Thank you very much.
Read instruction.
Thank you very much. You have to read the instruction. I told us that day that there are some instructions that we say one word only. There are some that will say 2 words or a number. Or some will say 2 words and or a number. Then some will say 3 words and a number, or 3 words only. If it's saying 3 words only, please don't put a number. If it's saying 2 words and a number, then if there are 2 words and a number, you can put them. But please, when it's saying 2 words, don't put 3 words. And once it's saying 3 words, don't put 4 words. You are permitted to put 2 words, 1 word, but please ensure that whatever you are putting, mute your mic. Please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. So endeavor that whatever you are picking in the exam hall is correct. It correlates to the question you are asking. You are asked rather to the question you are answering, and ensure that there is no tautology. What do I mean by that? Maybe they are telling in the question they said that the woman is gorgeously dashed. The woman is gorgeously dashed. And the speaker said, the woman is beautifully healthy. The woman is beautifully healthy. Now, the question says the woman is gorgeously dashed. Now, you have to look out for synonym. And the synonym of beautifully in that context is gorgeously. If the question is asking you that the woman is gorgeously dashed, then the speaker is saying the woman is beautifully healthy. Then you are not supposed to write beautifully healthy because they ask you to write 2 words. Gorgeously and beautifully are the same, and you have perfectly and successfully repeated just a word again by writing beautifully healthy. The answer is supposed to be just healthy, nothing else. But once you are writing beautifully healthy, then it means that you have repeated the word gorgeously. Now you are saying the woman is gorgeously, beautifully healthy. Does that make any sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that make any sense? Saying beautifully, gorgeously healthy. Does it make a sense?
No, it doesn't make any
No.
sense.
Oh, there is no meaning attached to that. You are just
Exactly.
seeing the same thing over and over. So it is important that you know what tautology is, know the synonym that is of the word that is used in the passage, because there is no way they will not say that question. They will not say that question in any other way. They are just going to use synonym or saying it in the direct way. So it now boils down to you on your ability on vocabulary. I remember giving us an assignment on some vocabularies in the last class. Did anybody attempt that assignment? So nobody attempted that assignment. It doesn't make sense if I give us assignments in the class to work on vocabularies, and at the end of the day, we did not do it. Not even a single person. It doesn't encourage me. So please, I gave us a list of vocabulary in the last class. I remember telling us that we should look for different words and different vocabulary for hotel, different words and different vocabularies for identities, those vocabularies that they can use when you want to book an hotel, like reservation and all those words. Like if you are going to take a flight, there are some vocabularies that need to be attached to a flight, like a ticket, like flight booking, like flight reservation, like seat booking, like and when you are going to like
Flight number.
yeah, I remember that I told us all these vocabularies that we need to work on. I'm going to type them out at the end of the class, and I expect everybody to work on that vocabulary and submit it in the class, in the next class. So please, work on your assignments when I give you. I remember that I gave us that assignment and I told us to write it out and let me see what range of vocabulary we have been able to get. This will
Sorry.
help us. This okay, thank you very much. This assignment will help us to be able to be vast in the use of vocabulary. It's not going to help your listening alone. It's going to help your speaking. It's going to help writing. It's going to help your reading. Because once they are saying something, you have already known what is next. When they are calling for reservation of an holiday or a picnic, you know what is next. You know the range of vocabularies they use there. When they are going on a trip, you know the range of vocabularies they use there. When they are taking an hotel reservation, you know the range of vocabularies that they use there. When they are going to the library, you know the range of vocabularies that they use in the library and the likes. So please, I want us to work more on ourselves. Not just coming to the class, sit down, and at the end of the class, go away. No, you need to work on vocabulary. You need to be grounded in this vocabulary using different synonyms and different words, because this will help you in every aspect. Even forgetting about your exam, this will help you in your communication. It will help your communication skills because it gives you a good tone of command. It helps you with a good range of vocabulary in English. So please, I don't want this to repeat itself. In the next class, if there is any assignment I give us in this class, please endeavor to do them. I don't want this to repeat itself. I hope I've made myself clear. I hope I've made myself
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm
Thank you.
sorry,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
It's
Yes,
clear
to
now.
Paula, sorry.
No problem. No problem. Everyone is pardoned today. I'm sure that this will not repeat itself because I know my students are very good students.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma.
Yes, we are.
So, then the second point, I
Thank
told
you,
us
ma'am.
to use your prior knowledge. Thank you very much. I told us to use our prior knowledge. Although you have to not put your knowledge over what the examiner is saying. Don't forget that condition. I told us that we can use our prior knowledge, but we must not put our knowledge above whatever the speaker is saying. For instance, I remember giving us the instance of the part of the body. An examiner will not give you what is wrong. But I'm just using this as an example. For instance, the examiner is trying to describe the part of the body. He says the leg is below the thigh, then the arm is beside the chest, but the head is on top of the leg. If the examiner is saying the head is on top of the leg, what you need your idea for, what you need to guess the answer for is, you know that the head will definitely be on top of something. But if the examiner is saying the head is on top of the leg, then it means in the context of that exam, the head is on top of the leg. You don't have to argue with the examiner. I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying the examiner will be so foolish to say the head is on top of the leg. But if you have a knowledge of something and you came with that knowledge into the exam hall, don't forget that the knowledge is subject to change because research goes on every day. So it will be very important that you put your mind in a very resting position and let it await any change at any time. You make your mind very flexible. You make your ears very flexible so that whatever the examiner is saying, even if it counteracts if it is contrary rather to your knowledge, you will still be able to grab it. Are we together?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
I'm with you.
Okay, so even if the knowledge is contrary, if your knowledge is contrary to what your examiner is saying, you will still be able to get what your examiner is saying and be able to write out the correct way. So when you are guessing, please don't be too faster than your shadows. Don't be too faster than your examiner. Putting into consideration that everything changes with time. Even research and technology changes every time. You might have an archaic knowledge. You might have an old-fashioned knowledge. You might not have the latest knowledge about it. So please, whenever you are guessing, whenever you are trying to predict answer, please try to predict it in the context of examiners and putting whatever your examiner is saying at heart, because whatever your examiner is saying in the context of that exam is the correct way. Even when you know that you are the one that carried out that research and you are the one that wrote that paper, you wrote that research, wrote the journals on it. But please, you are not the examiner that sets the question. So whatever the examiner is saying is what is right in the context of the exam. It is after your exam that you bring back your knowledge to your brain. But please, let the knowledge of the examiner overwhelm the knowledge that has been on you. Let it be imposed on the knowledge you have. Then the next point is to write your answers in your question papers. At the end of the exam, you'll be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to your answer booklet. So it is very important for you to write it in your questions paper. And you know that after writing your answers, there will be a time they will tell you to check your answers. Please check your answers. The reason why you are checking your answers is not just for any reasons. It's because you need to check your spelling. If they said health, and you wrote HEAT, at that period that you just answered the question, the knowledge is still fresh on you. If you have to go back to your question and see the answers, if you have to go back to your answers and now see the question, you can easily change it at that time. Maybe the question was in question 1 and you did just question 1 to 3. You can easily change it when you see the mistake. But if you end up going to question 40 before that, you will successfully write that HEAT instead of HEALTH. So please, whatever instruction you are giving, it always has a purpose. And don't allow that instruction to go into waste without it achieve the purpose it's supposed to achieve. So I want us to have that at the back of your mind. Let it always achieve its purpose. It is very important. What did I say? Let all instruction achieve its purpose.
It is very important.
Let all instruction achieve
its purpose.
Because at the end of the day, if you didn't allow it to achieve its purpose, you will discover that you are on the wrong side. Then we need to always check our spelling and our grammar. It is very important. Always look at that passage, at that sentence, and see if it correlates. It is very important. And avoid your mind from wandering. I remember that I told us that there is a way we can build our attention span. I remember telling us that. I told you that for the sake of people that are in human relations, you attend to people on a daily basis, the nurses, the doctors, or whatever work you do, there is always a place for human relationship. Be a good listener. Build up your listening skills. Listen to every complaint that person had to make. And at the end of the day, what do I tell us to do? Summarize. At the end of the day, you will summarize whatever the person has said. You listen with your mind. Let your mind be available to whatever that person is saying. Then I also remember I told us that day that we should always look at the news, listen to the news, because there will be British accents, there will be Australian accents, and there will be American accents. I told us those three major accents. Although we do have much of British accent, but those three accents, we have to be familiar with them so that we won't miss it at any point. So I told us that we should be listening to Sky News, we should be listening to Al Jazeera, we should be listening to CNN, and all other news that we knew are very important, are international news that there are a range of accents. I remember that I listened to CNN, I think yesterday, and they have to report from London. They have to report from different places in the world. And when they are reporting, their intonation changes, their accents changes. And those are the things I want us to watch out for. Once you see a change in accent, then you listen more to know how they call different things. That is where vocabulary is needed. That is where our listening skill is needed, rather. Where you need to listen to get the accent, to be familiar with the accent. Tell yourself you need to be familiar with the accent.
I need to be familiar with the accent.
I need to be familiar with the accent.
Thank you very much.
I need to be familiar with the accent.
So everybody, let's write this down. Can we hear me?
Yes, ma. I can hear you, ma'am.
Your pen and biro.
Okay.
Number one, accommodation.
Pardon?
Come again, ma.
Number one, accommodation. Number two,
Okay.
payment.
Payment.
Yes.
Noted.
Number two, please.
Payment, according to the teacher.
Number two, payment. Number
Payment.
three, facility.
Number three, what, please?
That is where you see hotels and the likes. Facilities.
Okay, yes. Payment.
Number four, flight. Flight booking. Number six, library. Number five, rather.
Five.
Library. Number six, bank. Number six, bank. Number seven, account. In number six, there is bank. In that bank, you have to know all the vocabularies that are being used in the bank, like the account, the different type of accounts, the different type of checks, and the likes. Are we together? Because
yes.
If your question is not about to tell, it will in the part one. If it's not about to tell, it will be booking a flight to somewhere or booking an accommodation. Please, have we booking accommodation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Number one,
Yes,
I guess. Okay. So
Yes.
if it's not about booking a flight, it's going to be booking an accommodation or hotel reservation or library. Sorry, excuse me, please. Or a library or someone that is about to open an account. You understand? Now, The next one is supposed to be learn about a cashier. Write down cashier. Cashier. What does a cashier does? Who is a cashier? What are the vocabularies that are being used that is attached with being a cashier? Have you written?
Yes.
Yes, ma.
Okay, can we all hear me?
Yes, ma.
Yes.
So we are
Yes,
moving.
ma'am.
Yes.
We are through with the part 1. We are through with the part 1 and we are moving to part 2. Please, in your part 2 module, I'm going to be explaining some range of things. Please, I need you to listen attentively. The thing I will be explaining is what I have explained before. Can we hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma.
There is something called divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. In this situation, the last assignment we did in class, we saw that divide and conquer, but I decided not to talk about it because we are still going to talk about it in our part 2. Divide and conquer is when the recording is in a particular part, maybe in a part 1 or part 2, is divided into groups. Is divided into group. Like some questions, you will see question 1 to 5, then 6 to 10. That is called divide and conquer. So when you see divide and conquer, you need to watch out for them. Because these kind of things are helping you to be able to gain a good mark. When there is divide and conquer, they are making sure that your attention span is not too overwhelmed. Like, they are ensuring that you will have a short questions to answer so that you will not miss out any detail. Are we getting it? Then you will
Yes.
ask that short questions and we miss out every details. Like I've previously explained that after it, they might give you a time to check your answers. Those are the period where they say there is divide and conquer. Did we get that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma.
Okay. So now,
Sorry, ma. I didn't quite get it. Sorry.
okay, I said divide and conquer is the first thing you need to watch out for. Divide and conquer is the first thing you need to watch out for. Like in the situation of sharing question into group, like they share the question into maybe 1 to 3, 4 to 7. At times it could just be 2 division, 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 1 to 3, 4 to 10. So in division, wherever they divide and conquer, they are giving you extra opportunity to be able to not to be they are giving you an opportunity to prevent overwhelming your attention span so that you will not be too overwhelmed. Please mute your mic. Please, you want to talk in the background and the talk and whatever you are saying is not for this class. Please mute your microphone. Thank you. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes.
Yes, ma.
So the next thing is that we listen to specific. You listen to specific details. Always listen to details. Don't ever overlook details. Wherever you see the details, you listen. You listen. That is one of the most important things. And you answer as you hear them speak. As you move, you answer. Don't jot the answers in your brain. Don't use acronyms for any of the answers. Answer directly inside your exam, your question paper, as I've said earlier, and you answer as they move. That is for everything. Whatever I'm telling you for part 2, it is also applicable in all the parts. Please answer as you move. Do we understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then, as I was saying, keep moving forward. As you are moving, be moving forward. Once you see that a question has been said and you didn't get the details, please move forward. Leave that question and move. Don't move back. The moment you are thinking, what did they say? What are they saying? What is this specific thing they are saying? I heard it. Oh, I heard it. My people, you are being cheated. What did I say? You are being cheated. Because at the end of the day, maybe before you get yourself, they are already in. Maybe you were thinking at question 12. Before you will get it, they were already in question 15. And you have missed about 4. I remember that in my exam hall, let me use myself as an example. In my exam hall, they were talking about children's attitude. There was a place that was interesting. I was following. Then there was a place that was interesting. They were talking about female children and their behavior. I have a daughter. And the moment they were saying it, I started imagining my daughter at home. And at the end of the day, I didn't know where they were anymore. I've gone in my thoughts. And that's why I'm saying avoid what? Distraction. By the time I'll get myself back, they've already passed 3 questions. Are we getting it? So I quickly located myself, knew where I am, and quickly moved ahead. And I knew that I missed that 3 question because I didn't even get it. Inside the exam, I marked myself. I knew I missed 3 questions. And exactly what I expected I'm going to score was my results. So listening is so easy that you can easily predict it when you avoid distraction. So I've told you my experience now. Can we hear me, please?
Yes.
So I've told you my experience. I've used the story of my life to teach you that in the exam hall, they might bring some things that will bring distraction. Those topics of interest, those topics that you love, those topics that you are emotional about. But the most important thing is that don't bring that topic to heart. Remember that it is exam. And 75,000 increased to 78,000 is not a child's play. So remember that you are in the exam hall. And what? Avoid distraction. Keep moving forward. If I had not gotten myself at that point and rush towards getting my answer, I will end up missing the whole of it until they say, look at read through the next question and answer question 21 to 27. That's when I will know that I've missed a whole lot of 8 questions or 9. So I hope we understand what I've explained.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Another thing for us to know, please, can we hear me? Hello,
Yes,
can we hear
loud
me?
and clear.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Thank
Yes,
you very
ma'am.
much. Another thing that I want, please, whenever you are
Can
not
hear you,
hearing
ma.
me, okay, whenever you're not hearing me, please call me back. Just tell me I can't hear you, and I will be glad to repeat myself. So I want you to know your clues. Everybody have a clue rather. The way you answer question is different from the way we answer my question. The way you understand things will be different from the way I will understand things. But the answer is usually pronounced louder and clearer. It is easy to hear and understand. No matter what they are saying, when they are rumbling all the words together, that particular answer will be clear and it will be louder than others. That is a very important tip I'm giving you. Watch out for that. That is a clue. If you can't hear something clear because the speaker swallows the word or whisper, then probably the answer is not there. If you keep practicing on this, you will discover that you will be able to tell the difference between answer and non-answers. Are we getting me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Please come
Yes,
again.
ma.
Yo, fire
So,
on.
Yes, can hear you.
okay, thank you very much. So please note this. The answer will be clearer and louder than every other way. The way I said clearer and louder. That is exactly, they will pick out the answers. All you need to do is just watch out for it. So in our practice today, you have to listen to the clearer and louder words. Whatever they are saying that looks like grumbling, don't bother about it. Probably the answer is not there. But wherever the answer is, it will be clearer and it will be louder. What did I say? I just need those two words. Tell me.
Wherever the answer
The
is, it
answer
will
will
be
be
louder
clearer and louder.
Yes.
The answer will be clearer and louder.
Thank you. The answer will be clearer and louder. I beg. The baby is learning IELTS.
Yes, sir.
The answer will be clearer and louder. When you enter the exam hall, tell yourself clearer and louder.
Clearer and louder.
Tell yourself clearer and louder.
Clearer and louder.
louder.
You know that I told us that
Anyone?
I'll be giving us strategies on how to answer questions. So today, I have been able to tell us the tips. Now we are moving to strategy. What did I say?
Strategy.
Strategy.
Thank you.
Strategy.
Now we are at strategy. The first question type I'm going to talk about is multiple choice. Multiple choice. Please write it down. Whenever you are answering multiple choice question, you have to do an elimination method.
Yeah.
How do you do elimination method? The way you do an elimination method is you look at the question. Whenever they say you should prepare,
Yes,
you should prepare your answer. I remember telling the people in our previous class, whenever they say, look through your question. Now look through that question. They said that, okay, there was one they were showing us. There was one that we attended the last class. They said that, please mute your mic if you want to make noise. Please mute your mic if you want to say something that is different from our class. Now, they will say, okay, let me give an example. They said they asked from direction from dash. Now, option A, the man sitting at the bar. Option B, the man with yellow cap. Option C, the man on uniform. Looking at a country that is more specialized, that is more advanced rather than our country, you'll be able to understand that whenever you need an instruction, the best person you ask is the security men. How do you identify the security men? They are always on uniform. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, using the elimination method, what does the man at the bar does? The man at the bar is always there to attend to customers. So asking an instruction, asking for a particular address or direction from the man at the bar is not that easy. So it's not an ideal thing to do, rather. Now, the man with the yellow, Asking for direction with the man with the yellow cap does not guarantee you getting the right information you need to get. So instead of you asking the man in the yellow cap or the man at the bar, you can see a man on uniform there. And you can see that if you ask a man on uniform a question, there is about 98% assurance that you are going to get the prompt and adequate response that you need for the information. So at that point, you would have you would have just made a sign to the man with the yellow cap and made a mark with the man at the bar, leaving only the man with uniform. Then when you listen to it, then you will be able to say, yes, I guessed right. Are we together?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
You don't get the multiple choice. Now, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that when you see a multiple choice, what is multiple choice? MCQ. The kind of question like that, you will see different options. Option A, option B, option C.
Yeah.
Please mute your mic so that you can hear, please. Now, the way to go about elimination method is you've gotten your options. They will give you time to look through your questions. Like the example I made, where did they ask for direction? Or from whom did they ask for direction? They were talking about some people in that question. Now, you saw a man on uniform, you saw the man on uniform, you saw the man at the bar, and you saw the man with the yellow cap. In an ideal and a good setting, you know that the best place to get an information from, the best person to get an information about direction from is the uniform men. Because they might be the police or the traffic, the traffic warders or those controlling or monitoring in town. And you will discover that if you get an information from them, if you ask for questions for them, you can get a 95 assurance that you are getting a true information from them. Unlike you went to ask a random man on yellow cap. Number one, the man on yellow cap might be a visitor. It might be his first time there. It might be that the man is not even mentally conscious of the environment. Now, meeting the man at the bar. The man at the bar is inside the bar. And you asking a direction from the man at the bar is absurd. Because ideally, the man at the bar attended to those people in the bar, to the customers, and not for direction, but to serve them and meet their needs. So you can easily predict that the man at the bar is not a good option. The man with the yellow cap is not a good option. And now think that, okay, the man on uniform will be a good option. Because if you ask for address from a policeman, you should be able to have an assurance that you are on the right side. That is what I'm saying concerning elimination and elimination method. So unless the speaker says something different, most times you can't be able to predict correctly. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes.
So the person that has the question, are you clear now, ma?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Good. Now, this question is similar to true, false, not given, and yes, no, not given in your exam hall, in your reading. Because we will discover that the true is true, the false is false, and the not given is not given. So at times they might talk about the man on yellow cap, and they might talk about the uniform man, but they will be specific at a point, and that will be clearer, louder. Because the man in the yellow cap, they might just say where they were going. Oh, I've seen the man in the yellow cap. Should I ask him for instruction? And the other person will be, no, I don't think that is a good idea. I think we should ask the man on uniform. Did you get that? So, as a result of that, they have already told you that, well, they saw the man on the yellow cap, with the yellow cap rather, but it's not a good idea to ask him. So they have decided to ask the man on uniform. When they are asking you, who do they ask? Then you should be able to say it is the man on uniform. Are we together?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Does anyone have a question?
I have a question.
Okay, please ask. But your network is not good.
On the map, when
we are not yet at map. Hello? Hello, can we hear me?
yes, please.
Okay, so my network is a network that is not good.
I do have okay. Of Monday describe
Question. Type of question, I'll read it out later. But we are not yet in map. I'm taking the strategies one at a time. So we'll get the map. We'll get the map. Now I'm working on multiple choice and filling the gap. So I've been able to talk about multiple. Okay. So I've been able to talk about multiple choice. Now I'm talking about filling the gap strategy. I'm talking about filling the gap. I'm going to talk about filling the gap strategies now. When you are answering a fill in the gap question, you have to look at the words around that question to understand the missing word.
That's the context.
Yes, thank you very much. You have to look at the words so as to understand what is wrong, what is missing. For instance, they said the boy is dash or the girl is dash. When you are looking at that, you should be able to understand that there is an adjective there. Adjective is what is missing there. If they say the boy is dash, something that is talking about the boy. You've seen the noun. You should know that an adjective is missing there, or probably a verb. Maybe what the boy is doing. Maybe it's the boy is dancing, is playing, is working, or the boy is tall. I hope we got that. So you will charge for adjective and verb to know what is missing. And
I didn't get it, ma.
Okay. I said, for instance, maybe they give you a question of the girl is dash. Now, you know that the girl is dash. It will not be a noun that is there because the boy is a noun. Now, they now said the girl is dash. Girl is a noun. Then you should know that it should be something comparing the girl or something about what the boy is saying. They can't use a pronoun. The boy is he. Is it possible? No, it doesn't fit in. They can't say the boy is it. The boy is she. The boy is her. So you know that doesn't work.
It has to be something qualifying the boy, what the boy is doing.
It has to be something qualifying the boy or something about what the boy is doing, which is either an adjective or a verb. I hope we got that. So at the end of the day, it will be either the boy is tall.
I have a question.
Okay, let me complete the sentence, please. Then you can ask your question. So at the end of the day, you have either the boy is tall or the boy is handsome. Are we together? Please ask your question.
Is it possible that the options, the possible answer can be rephrased in the options given?
Please ask that again.
I said, is it possible that the answer, like this that you said, the boy is, let's say the boy is fat. Let's say maybe that's supposed to be the answer, and that was what was read in the passage. So now, in giving the options, they probably said the boy is chubby. We see that is rephrased. I don't know, is it possible that the options can come like that?
Yes.
This is a fill in the gap. I think she's still at multiple choice.
No. I understand her context. I think she's not just able to explain it better. They can use the synonym of the boy, saying the male child. I hope that I think that's where you are going.
Yes.
They can use the synonym of the boy, changing the context of the boy, saying the male child is still the boy. Are you getting it?
Yes.
Like maybe we are talking about a computer. They now said the hardware. Don't forget, computer is an hardware. It's a hardware rather.
Yes.
Are you getting it? So I have told us earlier that you have to be conversant with synonym, because in this kind of context, there is something they call chameleon question. You know a chameleon? It changes color. You know, at some point they will say the direct word, but when they are now moving, they can change it. They will change the turn it into a synonymous form. And at the end of the day, if you are not conversant with vocabulary, I repeat, if you are not conversant with vocabulary, you will miss what they are saying in that context. And that is why it is very important that you familiarize with the necessary vocabularies that you will need. You have to ground yourself in a very wide range of vocabulary, so that whatever they are saying, you are picking it. Whatever they are saying, you know that this is exactly what they are saying. I hope we understand that.
Yes,
I understand. Thank you.
Yes,
I hope it's not looking like it's tough for you.
Not at all.
Okay. Thank you. Then I would love to say this. You should watch out for trap. Trap. I have said it earlier. Like the speaker is saying, I want to visit the gallery on Monday. No, wait. I have just remembered that it is closed on Monday, so I will have to go on Wednesday. Now, if I ask you which day does the speaker need to visit the gallery? Which day?
Wednesday.
Some people are saying Monday. Some people are saying Wednesday. So you have to watch out for trap. Listen to the end of that statement. Like you said, how much did you buy this perfume? Then he said, wow, I bought it at $2. No, wait. Although I bought it with some other things, but I think it ranged for $3. Now they are saying that she has already said, I bought it at $2. No. I remember, although I bought it with other things, but this particular theft is $3. So you have to watch out for it, because at the end of the day, $3 is the answer. Just like the last test we did, and the answer was then $40.
for excess luggage. Yeah, it's true.
Yes, the answer was $40, and a lot of people wrote $400 because they actually talked about $400 and talked about $40. So if the thing looked like Arabic to you, you will end up picking the 400. And if it's clear to you, you end up picking the 40. But if you hear it well, you will see that $40 is clearer and louder than $400. Who noticed that? When they were saying that, $40 was clearer and louder than the $400. At some point, you don't even know if it is $400 they were saying or $440. So you have to always note the word clearer and louder. So we have been able to talk about filling the gap, and we have been able to talk about sentence completion. I've been able to talk about 2 types of strategies. How you handle filling the gap, before I move to the next one. I need someone to recap the 2 for me before, the 2 strategy for me before I move to the next question. Let me look for somebody. Madam Casey, are you there? Madam Casey, unmute your mic. Thank you very much. Madam Casey, you did well. Please.
Yes.
Please, can you recap everything I've said about the 2 question type before we move on? I want to test our levels of understanding.
Oma, you talked about from the listening. You said the first thing for us to do is to listen to instruction, to read our instructions, because instructions could come in different ways. It could be 1 word or a number, 2 words or a number, or 3 words or a number, or you just have to read the instructions to be able to know how to go about answering the question. Then you gave us tips on how to go about the questions. You don't have to, if you feel like you didn't hear what was read, you don't need to lose hope and then try to remember or something. Just keep moving and don't get distracted. Just keep listening. That's just 1 question out of many others that are right in front of you that you need to answer. So don't just because of the one you missed out, lose others as well. Then those are the tips. You also told us to now let me talk about the types of questions. You said, okay, we have to be vast also. Our vocabulary level needs to be vast because most of the questions may come as synonyms. So you need to have a high vocabulary, lots of vocabulary to be able to know what is being talked about. You gave an example of when, for example, they say he is gorgeous, and then the speaker is saying beautifully something, and then you that gorgeous has taken the place of the beautifully because they both sort of mean the same. So if you still repeat the same, it's tautology, and obviously you are wrong. So okay,
Okay, thank you very much. You deserve a round of applause. Please help me to applaud her. She did well. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I've talked about sentence completion, and I told us that the major thing is to have the ability to understand the main idea of the listening test. That is the context. So
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
forget. And I talked about MCQ, that elimination method is the best strategy to use.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
we need to talk about some other things. because tonight I want to take all the question time so that we can move to part 3 in the next class. So now I'll be talking about forms. I remember talking us about some things. Form is just the summary of details in the recording, like name, like phone number, like date, like address, and the likes. That is forms for you. Those are the question type. It is a form, still under summary completion, still under sentence completion. So what you need to know here is that you don't miss a detail. And I remember that at the beginning of the class, I told us that once you see name and they wrote the first name, just know that you are going to spell.
Yeah.
Know that you are going to write a spelling. So let all your ears be open and let your brain be ready to grab up every word that they're saying, every figure that they are spelling. Because once they say Mary something, then you know that the next thing is that they want to spell the name.
Yeah.
All you need to do is just to open your mind and be following the spelling with your hand. Whatever you hear, just be writing it down. At the end of the day, it's going to make sense.
Yeah.
So that is how to tackle that kind of question. Once you see a name, please listen well. Once you see telephone, then they are going to write some numbers. Or what is a telephone? The telephone, you are going to write some numbers. So watch out for the number that has been written on ground. Not the last number that is being written, so that you know where to pick it up from. Note the last number that is written, so that you will know where to pick it up from. Then, when you are writing address, note what has been written down. They might say number 74, XYD3, Custody Road, Salisbury. Now, they might have written Salisbury, they might have written SYDE something, remaining the number and the Custody Road. So note what they have written and what you are supposed to write. Are we together? Then when they are talking about value, okay, the total value, the estimated value, now, they might be saying, please mute your mic. You need to be reminding us this. Please mute your mic once there is noise in your background, please. Now, this is how it works. What is the estimated value of an item? Maybe someone reported that an item was missing. Now they said, what is the estimated value of the missing item? Then the person said 3,250 pounds. 3,250 pounds. And the sign, the symbol for pound has been written. That pound is not your problem. If the symbol for dollars have been written, that dollar is not your problem. What you need to know is the number, the amount. Now, they might be saying, okay, the estimated amount of all the goods that were missing was $3,500. Now, in front of it, they might have written the total amount of all the goods, both missing and not missing. Then you can say 5,000 pounds. They have written it in front. All you are listening to is the estimated amount of missing goods. So you must not make the mistake of writing the estimated amount of total goods, both missing and not missing. So you have to note that. Now, I've talked about form. Any question? I hope it's straightforward. No question. Thank you very much. So now we are moving to notes. Now, in notes, you have to summarize the specific details, the specific and detailed information in the recording. The specific and detailed information in the recording. In this kind of question, is usually common in the part 2 and part 3. where they will say swimming. Maybe they put swimming in front. They now said swimming in the front. The answer is not now supposed to be at the back during the holiday. Maybe they were talking about an event. Maybe people went for a particular camp and they are talking about the event that is going on in the camp. Now they are now talking about different events. This is where you need notes. Talking about swimming. They say swimming, they swim on Wednesday. Now they talk about clubbing. Clubbing is every Friday night. They said so. They said clubbing is every Friday night. Now they have written night. They are waiting for you to bring out the specific information. And that specific information will be Friday. It's usually one word or two words, not more than that. Now, they are asking you to bring out the specific information. For now, okay, let me give you an example. I remember listening to one listening question before where they were talking about where they were talking about a particular event center that was renovated. Now, they were saying the key to the lobby is on the cupboard. Now, they now write on the dash. You are asked to bring out the specific information. So when they were talking, they said, when you get to the entrance, you will see a cupboard by your right side, by your right hand. Then the key to the cupboard, the key to the door is on top of the cupboard. Now, they are telling you that the key to the door is on top of the cupboard. And the question is asking you that the key to the door is placed on dash. That is where synonym comes in. When they said on top of the cupboard, and they are saying it's placed on dash, they place it on the cupboard. So all you just need to say is cupboard. That is the specific information that you need to bring out. We only go skimming. We only skip on Monday, and now they wrote we skip. Then you need to know that it is Monday. I hope bringing out the specific or detailed information is very clear. Please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. Thank you. So I hope we are clear with this kind of question.
Yes.
Thank you. Is there anyone that has a question concerning this question? No. Thank you.
Now, Peace and Clementine or Clementine, it's not tough to mute microphones. Honestly, it's not tough. That's part of adhering to instructions that we've been talking about all this while. Mute your microphone so that we can all enjoy the class, please. Otherwise, we might just have to be taking people out of the class. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma. Now, we are going to the table. We need to talk about the table. When you are talking about table, you have to summarize some specific information relating to some categories. When you talk about tables, you will see the table drawn. It might be in 2 columns or 3 columns, but you will see the table drawn. And each table will be labeled. Each column will be labeled for you to know what you are talking about. Now, you have seen rows and you have seen column. It's both in column and row. So now, they might ask you some specific question. Sometimes it might be not more than 3 words. Sometimes it might be not more than 2 words. Sometimes it might be not more than 1 word or a number or something. But it is very important that you read your instruction and also listen to it. So now, in this kind of question, you are talking about, they might be talking about places, a price for a particular thing or cost. They might be talking about time. For instance, the table, they might put day of arrival, Sunday, and dash. And then in the next row, you see dash. Now, they might be telling you that Tim is supposed to arrive on Sunday, while Jane will arrive on Monday. Now, you have to note it, because in front of it, they will write day of arrival. Then you need to know that Tim is arriving on Sunday, while Jane is arriving on Monday. Or maybe Tim and Jane is talking, and Tim said, Jane, when are you arriving? And Jane said, oh, I don't know my arrival date, but I am supposed to arrive on Monday. What about you, Jane? What about you, Tim? When are you arriving? Then Tim will say, oh, of course I arrived today. Today's Sunday. So you will know that, yes, Tim is arriving on Sunday. Tim has arrived on Sunday, rather, while Jane is arriving on Monday. That'll be tomorrow. So you have to note those specific information, those information summary. I hope we are together.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope you got that.
Completely, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you very much. Yes, please, if you have any problem, just let me know. If you have any difficulty in getting a particular question, please let me know. Now, the next one is a flow chart. In the flow chart, you might see some arrows. But inside the flow chart, don't forget that there will always be sentence completion in it. So inside the flow chart, all you need to bring in is your sentence completion skills, is your fill in the gap skills. Don't forget, you have to read the context, understand the context, and know the missing word. And this flow chart, I think I've seen about 5-6 questions on that. This flow chart, you are looking for a particular missing word, and don't forget a particular thing. A very important tip on it. The very important tip is that they are sequential. The way the arrow moves, that is how the answer moves. And the answer will be clear and loud. So once the answer is moving, the way the chart moves, then you know where you are immediately after you have understood your concepts. I hope you got that. Do you need me to explain this again?
I'm good with that, man.
Okay, you are good with that. Any other person? I assume everyone is good with that. So then let me take us to another kind of question. This is summary paragraph. I hope we are all jotting. After the flow chart, we move to summary paragraph. In summary paragraph, you are still filling in the gap. Don't forget that I've been telling us different type of filling in the gap, starting from the table to the form, to the notes, to the flow charts, to this. Now we are at the summary paragraph. Because when you see filling in the gap comes in different ways. And these are the ways that filling in the gap comes in. Now, you will see a whole paragraph written. And inside that paragraph, there will be spaces that you need to fill. They might be talking about agriculture. This question are commoner in part 2, part 3, and part 4. They are commoner in part 3 and part 4. So you have to check it and read the context, as I've explained earlier. You read the context to know what they are saying there and to note the missing word. Please endeavor to note the context, understand the context, so that you will know the missing word. You can even envisage what this missing word could be. And at the end of the day, you might guess right. Now, we are moving to the second type of question. I've talked about sentence completion and the different types of sentence completion you might be meeting. Now, we are going to plan, map, and diagram labeling. I know this is the interest of a lot of people because they find it difficult to get this. Map, plan, and diagram labeling. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma.
We are at plan. What do I mean by plan? Maybe the plan of a particular location or a particular place, then a map of a particular place, then diagram labeling.
Yes.
So in plan labeling, the plan labeling might be about a factory, it might be about a city, it might be a part of a particular type of device. But the most important thing is that there will be some answers for you to pick. There will be some answers for you to pick. And there will be some parts that will be labeled that will help you in picking the answer. The context of this listening is usually not non-academic. They might just be saying it, but you know that I told us that in our previous class, I told us that in IELTS, in listening IELTS, there is a context of academic context and non-academic context. In academic context, they might be disturbing a journal, a textbook, a research, an assignment, and the likes. Now, this is part of the non-academic context where they will be talking about those places. They talk about map, about plan, about a library, about a museum, where people talk about museum, where they book flights, hotel reservation, accommodations, and the like. So now, in this kind of plan labeling, the strategy you use for plan labeling is also the strategy you use for map labeling. How do you do it? In plan labeling and map labeling, there is only little difference. In plan labeling, you look for the entrance. Immediately you receive your question and you have heard, you have listened, you have read your instruction that says maybe not more than one word or two words only. The next thing you need to do is to locate the entrance and the exit. Are we together?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma.
So you will need to locate the entrance and the exit. Once you have gotten your entrance and your exit, whatever they are saying will be around the entrance and the exit. They might start with the entrance saying, at the right hand of the entrance is so. Or to the right of the entrance, you will see the museum before you see the rose garden, immediately after the museum or something. Now, locate bridge. You need to locate bridge. You need to locate where there is water, maybe river, sea, ocean. And you need to locate flower beds. Now, this is how you do it. Immediately you check your entrance and your exit. Know the important features like water, like flower beds, or like bushes, or like bridges. Because those are the focal points. Those are the points that they will be using to describe other things. Now, once you have seen your entrance, follow the examiner. Whatever they are saying will start from the entrance. It's either they are talking to the left of the entrance, or to the right of the entrance, or moving directly towards the exit from the entrance. Are we together? Are we together? Can we all
Yes,
hear me?
ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Loud and clear, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Thank you. So once you have been able to locate your entrance and your exit, whatever question they are asking you here will be close to that entrance. The first question. And don't miss a question because the first question will determine where the next question will come from. And the next question will determine what the next question is going to be. If they tell you that when moving inside at the left or turn to the left, you're going to see the museum. Then slightly beside the left, before you move to the office, you will see the toilet. So just begin to follow the way they are explaining it. In fact, I advise my students that they should pick their pencil and draw an arrow. From the entrance where they are explaining, you draw arrow to that side. Then when they are moving to the museum, maybe it's directly at the left-hand side and not where the path is. You draw the pencil, you draw the arrow. When they are moving ahead again, you draw the arrow. So that at every point, you will not miss where you are. I hope you got that. So you use the arrow to be able to follow whatever they are saying, whatever location you are describing, your arrow is following. So by the time they will get to the left-hand side of the plan, or by the time they will go to the exit, your arrow is already following it. And while you are moving, you are writing the necessary things down. You are writing your necessary answers down. Wherever you see your arrow, and you see that here they have not there is nothing written on it, you will be able to know that yes, they are going to talk about this. So you will listen to that clearer and louder voice. Then you write it down. Then you follow with your arrow again. Are we together? Are we together? Can we all hear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
The arrow will be like your torchlight. That is what I compare the arrow with. It will be your torchlight in darkness. And it will help you to have a sense of direction. I hope we all got that. Please, any question?
I have a question, ma'am. Hello. I have a question.
If you have any question, please, let it be on this plan. I've not moved to map, so I won't entertain any question on map. Let me explain it. And during the process of explaining, your question might be answered. But I'm talking about plan now. So if you have any question on plan labeling, please, I advise you to speak up.
I have a question. Okay, thank you for the lecture. Please, my question is, when you are looking at the diagram you just described, when the recording is saying to the left, is it to my own left, or how do I determine the left or right?
Thank you. The entrance is a picture in front of you. The entrance is a picture in front of you. The left of the entrance is your left. Are we together? The left of the entrance is your left. The right hand side of the entrance is your right hand side. Are we together? That is the plan. The left is your left, the right is your right. Please, any other question? I hope I've answered that.
Yes, thank you.
Once you have been able to locate the entrance, the left is your left, the right is your right. So don't mix it up. The left is your left.
To the medical people in the house, don't think of anatomical right or anatomical left at points in time.
Forget about anatomical
Yeah, I think that's what's giving people the problem. What you are looking at is just the paper in front of you, and your right on that paper is your right. Your left on that paper is left.
Thank you very much for that comment. Your left hand side is your left hand side in the plan. And your right hand side is your right hand side in the plan. You don't have to mix it. There is nothing you need to mix. Just the left and your right. Your left and your right. Your left and your right. So wherever your left is your left. And wherever your right is your right. I hope we got that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
Absolutely, ma'am.
I didn't get you, please.
I said absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So now the next topic I'm going to talk about, the next question type is map labeling. In map labeling, there is something very in map labeling, there is something very important. And you have to understand the cardinal points. The cardinal points. When they are talking about south, east, west, and north. North, west, east, and south. Then you have to understand where your north is. So to me, I do advise my students that they draw that cardinal sign, the sign of plus. Then you label your north, your east, your west, and your south. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, we are.
On your question paper, that time that they gave you to look at your question, please quickly draw out your cardinal points: the left, the north, the south, the east, and the west. So that when they are talking about the north, you know where the north is. When they are talking about the south, you know where your south is. When they are talking about your west, you know where your west is. And when they are talking about your east, you know where the east is. So that at the end of the day, you will not confuse west with north and north with south. And mind those things that have been labeled. What did I say? Mind those things that has been labeled. Because they might tell you that to the north of the table or to the north of the cafe. Then you know the north now. You know that north will be on top of that particular cafe, telling you that when you draw the cardinal sign, the cafe is at the south. Did we get that? So you have to be familiar. The same strategy with the previous one. The only thing is, instead of your right being your right and your left being the left, you have to be familiar with your cardinal points. I hope that is taken.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please, I have a question just to clarify what you just said.
Okay, please ask your question.
Yes, you said if they say north of the cafe, it means the cafe is in the south. So whatever they are saying, should we take it that it's the opposite of the point they are talking about?
No. No.
Okay.
The most important thing is, wherever that thing is, they are talking of the northern part of that thing. Just stay on top of that thing and draw a cardinal point. Draw your signs of cardinal point and know where the north will stand. Are we together? If they are saying to the west of a particular thing, just you know where the position of the west is. You know where the west is supposed to be in the map. Now, let me give an example. For instance, to the north of the cafe, you know that the cafe is on top. Abi, you know that the north is on top. Slightly on top of that cafe, you draw a cardinal point because they are talking of something on top. Are we together? They are talking of something on top. They are talking of the north. The north is something on top, not something below. Abi, maybe the south is below and the north is above. Abi, on the cardinal point. Yes. So they are now saying to the north of the cafe. You have seen that the cafe, the north is something above. So you stand on top of that cafe and draw a cardinal point. Then you will see that on top of that cafe, the north, the south, the cafe will stand a chance of being at the southern part of the cardinal point. Then you know that what they are talking about, what you are supposed to label, is on top, is at the northern point, which is on top. Are we together? Now,
Yes.
they are talking about the east. You know that the east is at your right hand side, Abi, and the west is at your left, Abi.
Yes.
So they are now saying that to the west of the school, to the west of the school, all you have to do is to stand at the side. Once you stand at the side, you will discover that the school is at the eastern part. Because anything at the west is something at the other side, Abi.
Yes.
Are we
The opposite
together?
side.
Anything
Yes.
at the west is something at the opposite side.
Yes.
And you will be able to discover that in front of that thing, not on top now, in front of the school, you just put your cardinal point. And once it's in front, you will discover that the school is at the eastern part. Abi. And the west is at the and the particular position you are supposed to label is at the western.
The school
So
will be at the eastern part.
But it's possible for the school to be at the middle of the map, isn't it? And the west is still at the other side, and not really at the eastern part. Ma.
on the cardinal point, is there any place in the middle? That will be in the central.
Yes.
And they are not in the central. And when they are talking about the central, they will tell you that so thing is at the central of the map. And to the east of it is this. Are we together? They will tell you what is at the center. They will tell you what is at the central position. Are we together? They will tell you
Yes.
what is at the central position. Or maybe they have described what is at the east and described what is at the left. And they are now telling you that what is at the center is so thing. I'm supposed to label what is in the middle. By the time you will practice, you will see how to be able to write these skills. When they are explaining something, when they want to talk about what is in the middle, they might give you what is at the left and also give you what is at the right. Are you getting it? They will now tell you that at the central is dash, is that particular thing. And at the same time, they might say towards the east of the central car park. Are we getting it? Towards the east of the central car park, then you know that they are talking about this particular location. They are talking about the eastern part. So I don't want you to confuse it. All you need to do is to follow the recording. By the time I will endeavor that I look for more questions on map and post it to us so that we'll be able to familiarize ourselves with it. And at the end of the day, your cardinal point is all you need. Whenever they are moving on the map, go with your arrow and your cardinal points. Wherever they are, whatever they said there, just place your cardinal point and you'll be able to understand where they are talking about. I hope we got that. Is there anyone that has any question again? So no question. I assume it's clear. Don't worry. I know that most students have challenges in map. and I'm preparing questions on it so that in our next class, we will do it live. Are we together? We will do it live, and I'm sure that we get it. We are going to get it. You don't need to stress yourself. It's going to be as cheap as whatever you think it could be, even more than what you expect, even cheaper than what you have expected it to be. So don't worry. By the time we practice and I put you on the practices, you will know. So you have to note the words. Like they might decide not to use the cardinal point. I've listened to some audios that they don't use that point. They use on, they use above, they use below, they use under, they use over, they use next, they use off. When they are talking of off, that is a particular direction that is off the particular area. It stood on its own. Or maybe they are talking of a lane, and there is something that is off that lane. Are we together? Maybe something just stood aloof, and they are saying off. I hope we got that. So we should note every verbal description. It is very important. In this question type, if you want to scale to, then verbal description is very important. So don't worry, on Wednesday we are going to treat it in-depthly. I hope we'll make it on that day. Then another thing we are going to talk about is diagram labeling. Diagram labeling seems to be one of the cheapest because maybe they are talking about an operational cycle. The most important thing is they will give you a particular part. They will give you a particular label. At times they start the labeling on top, and at times they start the labeling below. But the most important thing is that they will give you a name of where they are about to start. So once you see it, at times they might just label 2 places or 3. Or they label 2 or 3 parts rather. You don't have any problem. Just note those parts so that whenever you hear them, you know where they are. And maybe they are talking about above it or below it or at the right side or at the left side. Are we getting it? That is how you're able to move. So whatever you have labeled, just keep moving with your arrow. In everything that has to do with diagram, your arrow is very important. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So,
sure, we are together.
Okay. Any question on that, please?
Not at this moment.
Okay, thank you very much. So I assume it's clear. Now, I'm going to move to matching. I want to take all the strategies today so that we can move to part 3 in the next class. There is something they call matching. In matching, they give you different options above. And you will now need to be, whenever they are talking, you are picking that options and you are matching it. You are picking that options and you are matching it. It's commoner in part 3. All you need to do is just listen, look at the options that fit in, something that looks like MCQ, but not MCQ. This is matching of information. Whatever they are saying, you are picking it, you are dropping it. You are picking it, you are dropping it. Maybe A is what they are talking about. Maybe at times they might be talking about so many people. They might be talking about maybe 10 people, talking about maybe, okay, let's assume they are talking about 5 people now. Let's be realistic. They are talking about Jackson, they are talking about Meredith, they are talking about Mary, they are talking about Titus, and they are talking about Michael. Now they started talking and saying Michael is useful. That Michael is useful. Most of the times when you send Michael an errand, he goes to the errand. At times they might not say that. They might not say the word Michael is useful, whereas you meet useful in the option. They're telling you that Michael, when you're at home with Michael, you feel good because there is nothing you ask him to do that he won't do for you. And in that option, you saw useful, you saw must read, you saw limited value, you saw read and session. Then you know that what they are saying is that Michael is a very useful person. Now, when they talk about Titus, they said Titus reads every morning, and reading is a must for him. Now, in our household, must read is there. You know that in front of that Titus, they are saying Titus must read. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes, ma.
So what they are expecting you to do
Yes,
here
ma.
is to match the summary of the information they are giving you. So in this kind of place, you don't need to be writing is a good boy, is useful, is a workaholic, is this, is that. All you need to do is just to look for the options between the options given and write it down. Maybe it's option A, option B, option C, and the likes. I hope I'm clear with that. I hope we are all clear with that. I hope we are all clear with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much. So that is the end of our strategies. That is the end of our strategy.